What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Links and Locks Best Bets podcast presented by Bet365. I'm Jason Sobel from the Action Network, and missing this week is my usual co-host and running mate, Ben Everill from Golf Bet. Benny is on a beach vacation this week, taking a well-deserved rest. He actually offered up that he would be on the podcast while sipping on a cocktail at the beach. And I said, you know what? Nobody wants to see that. Thanks anyway, Benny. I'm going to tell you guys right now, as we get to, I'll play 9 holes this week, making 9 bets, cut it in half, play solo, a little single mission this week for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. It's going to get ugly, guys. It's going to get even uglier than Ben Everill laying on the beach in a Speedo on his vacation. So before we move any further, sorry for putting that image in your heads, guys, but a reminder, the Links and Locks podcast is proudly presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sportsbook brand. Sign up with promo code ACTION to get Bet365's exclusive sign-up offer. Bet $1 on any game, get $200 in bonus bets. Must be 21 or older. Offer available in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, and Virginia in the U.S. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Well, guys, I mentioned it. It ain't going to be fun this week. You're going to hear some names and go, really? Because there are some decent names in this field. And before we get to the names, you're not going to want to hear the names that you know at the top. Tony Finau is your favorite this week, followed by Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Hideki Matsuyama, Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, Tom Kim, Sungjae Im, Keegan Bradley, last week's winner of the Travelers Championship. All very good players. I think only one of them will be mentioned here on the podcast, though. So, play along at home, try to guess which one that will be. I'll get to him very shortly, but let's get started playing 9 holes. I don't like playing as a single. I got nobody to bet with. I only like playing when I got some pigeons out there, but all right. We're gonna play as a single today, 9 holes. And let's start off with the first hole at Detroit Golf Club. My first bet, as usual, what I like to do is start out with my favorite long shot outright play of the week. And this week, that is a guy who was very, very popular coming off a share of 10th place at the U.S. Open a few weeks ago. Oklahoma State product Austin Eckroat has been playing some really good golf. Very interesting to me in the marketplace that he came off that 10th place finish at the U.S. Open, was 100-1 at the Travelers Championship, finished in a very respectable 24th place. And now this week, he is opened at 80-1. Now I am recording this podcast midday on Monday, and that could change. Of all the numbers that I saw, that's one that I think could change a couple of points by the time we get to Thursday morning. All of that said, 80-1, if you can get it still, is a very good number for a young player who's shown the propensity to play some really good golf at the highest level. And what I'm looking for as I get into some of these plays this week is what we've seen at Detroit Golf Club over the last 3 years is take driver, smash it, and the best drivers of the golf ball are usually up there on the leaderboard. 2 years ago, I had a player tell me, or 3 years ago, excuse me, I had a player tell me, this is a Bryson golf course. And what you understand that to mean is go smash it, play bomb and gouge, go smash it again. Bryson was a 6-1 favorite that week and wound up winning the golf tournament by 3 strokes. So if Bryson wins, you kind of know what course it's going to be. The very next year, Cam Davis won. We all know Cam Davis, best club in the bag is his driver. Last year, Tony Finau comes in first. In a share of second place was Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay, and of course, Taylor Pendrith. And so all those guys, again, guys who do their most damage with the biggest stick in the bag. And so that's what I'm looking for this week. Austin Eckroat has gained strokes with his driver in each of his last 8 starts. That should be a very good sign of things to come this week. And again, it's going to get ugly, but before it gets ugly, I'll give you one of those big names. I mentioned it off the top. Of all those guys, 30-1 or shorter this week. Not a whole lot of guys are going to be on my card for anything, but one that is, and would have been unfathomable to mention him just a week ago, coming off a missed cut and second round 81 at LACC. But Justin Thomas sort of hit rock bottom. He figured something out, finished in 9th place last week at the Travelers. Look, he's going to Detroit for one reason and one reason only, and that's to get some money, get some points, and move up in this world. So he went from 78th on the FedEx Cup points list to 66th last week. If the season ended right now, he would be inside the number to get to the playoffs. And that's going to be very, very important for determining which events you get into next year. But he's got to do better than that. He can't just be hovering outside that number, inside that number. He's got to get way inside of it. I think this is going to be a big week for JT. Said he played having more fun last week. Wasn't just swinging the golf club, he was playing golf. And so I've got JT for a top 5 with my second hole at plus 360. I think it's going to be a title contention type of week for Justin Thomas. All right. Moving to number 3, third hole. I mentioned his name already. Past champion of this event 2 years ago, the Aussie Cam Davis. We've talked about him a lot. With Ben being an Aussie, he's locked into a lot of these players. He's talked to Cam Davis. The start of the year was just a miserable mess for him. He was sick. He wasn't feeling well. And so I think he made the cut in his first start and missed the cut in his next 5 or 6. Players Championship, finally just kind of broke out of his funk. Felt better. Top 10 finish. And so since then, it's been like there's, brief moments of brilliance mixed with a lot of moments of mediocrity. But again, at a place where driver should flourish, coming off a final round 63 at the Travelers Championship on Sunday, I always think that portends good things. You play really well, play your best golf on Sunday, and then you go back out there 4 days later. It's not going to leave you over the course of 4 days. It shouldn't. So I've got Cam Davis for a top 10 this week. All right, fourth hole. Going to my top 20 play this week. Look, I'm going to make an admission right here because I've seen Kevin Yu's name, Kevin YU, on a lot of leaderboards and even a lot more statistical leaderboards this year. Strokes gained off the tee this year. It's Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Kevin Yu, Patrick Cantlay, which is ridiculous. So the admission I have to make is that he went by Chun An Yu when he was at Arizona State. He was the world's #1 ranked amateur until somewhat recently, the last month or so. I did not realize that Chun An Yu and Kevin Yu were the same person. He's gone by Kevin since he's made the PGA Tour. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Putting all the pieces together. Okay, this is a guy who we know is a great ball striker already. He's coming off surgery that he had after a second place finish at Pebble Beach about 4 months ago. Did make the cut last week, finished in 49th place. I'll pick him for a top 20 this week. The ball striking is, like I mentioned, it's not good. It's like elite level good in a very small sample size. But Kevin Yu can play some golf. If the putter cooperates, at some point, this kid's going to be really, really good. Plus 360 for the top 20 this week. All right, hole number 5. I'm going to tell you about a young, big-hitting, Swedish impending superstar very shortly. I'm going to tell you about another one right now. The other guy who's been on the PGA Tour longer than the second guy that I'll mention is Vincent Norrman. Florida State product through Sweden. Played some good golf on the PGA Tour. Like many of my plays, if you read my preview at the Action Network this week, you'll start looking and go, despite missing the cut in 3 straight, despite missing the cut in 4 straight, I wrote up Troy Merritt, despite missing the cut in 13 straight. Oh, gosh. How does Troy Merritt get his name into my preview? I don't know. Just kind of happened. Vincent Norrman has missed the cut in 3 straight, but he's played some good golf throughout his rookie season. I like this kid. 12th in driving distance, 39th in strokes gained off the tee. I'll take Vincent Norrman for a top 30. A conservative play this week, but I do like that. All right, 6th hole. Wouldn't be Sobel if I wasn't going to recycle some jokes, so let me recycle here. Luke List is a guy that's putted his best over the last couple of years. He's only gained stroke putting in 4 of his last 25 starts. As some of you might have heard, Action Network broadcast its first ever live sporting event, and it was in the world of golf, sort of. It was a putting event, a mini golf event on Monday afternoon that we broadcast, and on our internal Slack channel. One of our colleagues was giving us a little heads up on who to bet on. He said there's one player at 33 to 1 who putts with his foot, with a putter attached to his foot because of arthritis in his hands. And my response was, if Luke List could putt with a putter attached to his foot, I might bet him every single week. Oh, poor Luke. I like Luke List a lot. Tee to green is fantastic. The putter has not been very good. For that reason alone, I will stay away from going too deep on Luke List. But I will mention that last week was one of those 4 outliers in the last 25 where he did gain strokes with the flat stick. In the last 3 occasions that he has gained strokes with the flat stick, he's finished inside the top 40. So I'll take Luke List for a top 40. The not so secret ingredient that he needs is to put the ball into that hole in the ground on the green. If he can do that, make it sound pretty easy. If he can do that, he can finish top 40 this week easily. All right, 7th hole. Guy who in his last 5 starts, okay on Thursdays, everything between 69 and 71, but we've seen him go low in the past. This could be a good Sepp Straka kind of golf course. He's finished 8th and 11th here in the past. That's good news. Bad news is he's missed the cut each of the last 2 years. Like a lot of my plays, again, there's going to be a lot of, well, the bad news is with a lot of my plays this week. That's just the way it is. We're not going chalk in any direction this week. So Sepp Straka, I'm taking for first round leader this week. Again, I can't bring myself to play a Finau, a Matsuyama, a Fowler, an Im for first round leader. It's too short. There's too much variance there. Maybe someone with at least a little bit bigger number. I don't need a 200 to 1, but a little bit more that I can prey on for first round leader. All right. 8th hole, as we roll through this, give you one more reminder here that the Links and Locks podcast is proudly presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sportsbook brand. Sign up with promo code ACTION to get Bet365's exclusive sign-up offer. Bet $1 on any game and get $200 in bonus bets. Must be 21 or older. Offer available in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, and Virginia in the U.S. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we get to the 8th hole. And so something a little different I'm doing this week because, as I've mentioned many times now throughout this podcast, that my favorite outright is not a guy with a short number next to his name. I'm going to give you some more long shots. What this does, when you're not putting a 10 to 1, a 12 to 1, a 14 to 1 on your card for this week, what it allows you to do is say, okay, well, I can add more long shots to the card. I can take some more chances with some other guys. It's really hard when you've got Scotty Scheffler on your card. He's plus 650. And you go, I'm also going to take 9 long shots. Well, do the math. The math doesn't really work out when you try to do that. So when you only have a couple of long shots as your favorite plays, you can add to it. So 3 more long shot plays. I'll just throw out, one of last year's runners up has not played very well this year. I get it. 1 top 25 and I think 17 starts in 2023, but I still think Taylor Pendrith has a huge amount of potential. And maybe there's something about this golf course that gets him going again. All right, second long shot play here. Adam Schenk. Again, is ugly, guys. I get it. In his last 10 starts, he's only made the cut 4 times. 2 of the 4 have been runner-up finishes. There's a high ceiling, low floor here. I'm okay with that. If we're betting a guy outright, you want that ceiling. So Adam Schenk has that. And I'm going down to 180 to 1. Again, a guy that I really like and a guy that has not had the best year, but did look decent at the Travelers last week. Now he goes to a course that should suit him better. He's played some of his better golf in the summer months over the last couple of years. I'm trying to find reasons to like Callum Tarrant, who, again, another player that does his damage with the driver off the tee more often than not. So, again, just other guys that I'm adding to the card. This is not a take out the second mortgage kind of play here. This is not a, call for my locks of the week. That's not what this is. But it's just be smart about adding a couple of other long shots if you don't have it. If you're not on a Finau or a Fowler or somebody like that. Look, if you're going I'm all in on Fowler this week, you're probably not adding all these long shots as well. But for me, I don't have a guy like that. We get to the ninth hole, and my favorite outright opened at 60-1 in most books. It's the young guy, the rookie, right out of PGA Tour U, Ludvig Aberg. I'm telling you, he's a budding superstar. He's finished in the top 25 in 3 of his last 4 starts on the PGA Tour. Understands how to win, and I liken this to what we saw a few years ago in 2019. That summer, Matthew Wolff and Colin Morikawa were among those who turned pro. And we knew they had potential. We knew they were really good players at the time. But maybe we didn't quite gauge the marketplace and what was going on around them. Whether it's a whole tour of tired players, drained players, worn out players who just don't have much in the tank when they get to late June, early July, whether it's guys who are playing with a weight on their shoulder and just can't get past the what if. If I don't play well this week or next week or the week after, all of a sudden I'm running out of chances and I might lose my card. I might not make the playoffs, whatever it might be. And so we've seen this before. That year, Wolff won the 3M Open. Morikawa won the Barracuda. And so I think that Ludvig Aberg, and we've seen it recently as well, Rose Zhang won in her first pro start on the LPGA. We saw Adrian Dumont de Chassart and Ricky Castillo both win on the Corn Ferry circuit almost right away. It's not impossible. Ludvig Aberg at a very respectable number, I think, can go out there and win this golf tournament. He is long. He is really, really long off the tee. He does it this week. I think he might make the European Ryder Cup team as well. There could be a lot at stake for this young kid, but I do like Ludvig this week, and I can tell you that this might be the first time ever I'm betting on a guy named Ludvig. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, thanks to everybody out there for listening to this episode of the Links and Locks Best Bets podcast. I'm Jason Sobel from the Action Network. Benny Everill will be back next week. And remember, you can download, subscribe, rate, and listen to this podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast. Good luck with all your plays for this week's Rocket Mortgage Classic. Here's hoping you hit the green.